Hey, what's going on, YouTube? We have here a couple of Greenlight Chevy vans. So the G20 and the Vandura are definitely different toolings. You can see, for starters, the G20 has the side view mirrors. It's a little bit longer, just a smidgen narrower than the Vandura. The Vandura is a little bit wider. Wheelbase is a little bit shorter on the Vandura. Both are awesome castings. I can't wait to get one or two of these Vanduras with civilian livery. So I guess kind of technically this is, but it is also the A-Team livery. The wheels, obviously very different. The G20 here came with the stock Chevy wheels, but I took these off of one of the R34 Skylines to put them on here because I think it looks better. And it's, I think, the only, well, I think I've wheel swapped maybe 2 or 3 Greenlight cars. I don't do it much. I like to keep my die casts pretty much stock. The only exception to that is Johnny Lightning. But with M2, you can take the base off. They're not spun. And with Greenlight, you can swap the wheels without drilling the base in most cases. You got to be kind of careful doing it, but it can be done. So this one's definitely not drilled. But as I said, I don't like to do that too often because I like to keep the die cast pretty much as factory as I can. But there's your G20. Here's your Vandura. You know, there's been some pretty decent A-Team vans to come out in form of 1:64 scale die cast. To me, there's no question this is the nicest that I've seen. I would say the second nicest one that I've seen is the Hot Wheels Retro Entertainment. I like that one better than any of the Racing Champions or any of the others that I've seen. But this one has the most detail. Just a really cool van. And this is one of a very few Greenlight castings where I bought 2 to have one loose and keep one on card. I have a feeling this one might be one of those pretty sought after castings. Just like if they were to bring out the General Lee or the Time Machine, I think those castings would be pretty similar in that way. Probably this car here is probably the most iconic movie or television car that Greenlight has ever put out, with the possible exception of the Smokey and the Bandit Trans Am. You know, for me, like the top 5 movie television cars of all time would be the General Lee, the Ecto-1, the Time Machine, the Bandit, and the A-Team van. Those are the top 5 for me. Might throw in the TV series Batmobile. You throw it in and then, you know, make those the top 6. And if I'm missing something, feel free to comment below. So, really cool van though. Nice roller. And you can see how wide it is just on the base. The running boards definitely make it a lot wider, but that's all part of the base tooling, so it's not like an accessory. Super nice van though. Awesome roller. The wheels, this wheel tooling is a new tooling and it looks fantastic. I would love to see these wheels on some other castings, like some of the second gen Trans Ams. I think they would look great on. I don't know. I think there's quite a few other cars that these wheels would look sweet on. So I don't know why I felt like showing those, but I did. But now we're going to look at some other awesome Greenlight stuff. I'll start with this before I get into the theme of the video. This is a 2011 release from Greenlight. So it's an old Motor World. It's back in the day when they used to number them. And now they don't even make the Motor World other than the dioramas. But this is a 2012 Ford Focus. This is a sick little casting that Greenlight has totally smashed out of the park, like they do with most of their castings. They miss the mark every now and then, but I think for the most part they do a really nice job, especially on these late model cars. I've got a couple others. I only have a couple of these Ford Focus cars that have the metal base. Most of them have come out in the Motor World. But the Black Bandit and the Road Racers, which I'm not going to show in this video, came out in premium releases that did feature metal base. Sick car. And then another Motor World car that I found this at a Pep Boys probably about 2 years ago now. It's another fairly early Motor World release. It's a really nice little casting. These, I mean, the detail level is that of a Kyosho. That's really what they remind me of. There are certain Greenlight castings that have some resemblance to Kyosho when talking about the detail. The Ford Fusion, the Ford Escape. Alright, now we're going to get into the theme of the video, which is, by popular demand, it's been very requested, although mostly by one individual. I have done this video in the past, but I've added a few castings since then. So, shout out to Wayne Henderson. We're going to look at some Foxbody Ford Mustangs. Starting with the notchbacks, we have this Ford police car, which I'm pretty sure was an anniversary release. But look at how awesome this thing is. I think proportionately it's a little bit off, just the size of the wheels in contrast to the size of the vehicle. I think it's a little bit off, but not terrible. It still looks really good. It still has a fairly decent stance to it. I love the detail with the transparent lensed headlights and taillights. This one has an awesome light bar on top. So there's one notch back down. This one here, pretty popular, Black Bandit. This one has the red light bar. Black Steelies with the chrome hubcaps. This one here. So the first one was the Ford police car, like a sample car. The second one was a Black Bandit. This one is a Hot Pursuit licensed livery from the Michigan State Police. Now, one thing I'd like to say about these notchbacks, I think I have all of them, or I might be missing one or two, but they're all police cars. They've never released this with a civilian livery, and I would really like to see that. I've seen some customs online of people basically converting them to civilian models, and they look incredibly good. So I would like to see Greenlight just put this out as a civilian release. Here's the iconic CHP livery here. I probably have enough CHP cars to fill up an entire substation. Really nice interior detail. Not going to show through on the camera, but with this one here, this is the only one with the light interior, but you can really see a lot of detail with the light interior. All these other ones have dark interior, which just drowns all the interior detail out. All of these cars are really nice rolling cars. Here's another licensed police livery. I think it's Kentucky. Yeah, Kentucky State Police. This is probably my favorite notchback, just because of the real basic steel wheels and the color being the lighter color. I don't know. I think this is my favorite of these 5 because it's the closest looking to a civilian model. By the way, these all do have opening hoods. Very, very cool car. But now we're going to get into the good stuff. The Foxbody fastbacks. I'm not going to do them in any particular order because I'm not 100% sure of the chronology. This is the first Greenlight Foxbody that I ever owned. I found it on the pegs at Toys R Us in Aurora, Colorado. It's got the NYPD livery on it. It's got the OEM prototypical GT wheels, which are also used on some other Ford castings. The Bronco, these have come out on a Bronco, at least 1 or 2. And it's a great car. It's only been out twice in Hot Pursuit. You have this one here, and then you have the San Francisco Police Department. Those two are going to be the least expensive if you go online to buy these cars. They don't bring as much as the others, but they're still, I mean, if you can find them for under 15 or 20, you're probably doing pretty good. These ones also have opening hood, totally different engine bay and engine detail than the notchback. Gotta be careful with the opening hoods. Sometimes they don't close the way you'd like them. But just a really cool car here. The detail. And I'm not sure, this particular model is an 87. I think all of these range from 1987 to 1992. Even the notchbacks. There's a notchback that's a 93. 87. So yeah, I think 1987 is the first year. There's a 1990, 91. So 87 to 93 is going to cover the production years of these cars. So these last 6 are all civilian models, and they're very difficult to find. They're made between $2,500 and $3,500 each, depending on the car and the series that it was in. So the oldest one that I know for sure, the oldest one that I have is this, it's Greenlight Muscle Series 1. And it's a 1987. It's a nice low number. Back in the day where they had the green posts. Number 110. This is from Greenlight Muscle Series 1. I snagged this up at auction on eBay. I got it for $29 shipped. Which I think is a steal for this car. Because if you go online, I bet you there's not even one of these listed on eBay right now. That's how hard these are to find. And this one's nice because it's a nice black color with red trim. It has the stock GT wheels. Unlike the Black Bandit, where there's so much black on it that a lot of the detail gets hidden and drowned out in this scale. Plus, this has the light gray colored interior, which was a very common color for automotive interiors in the early to mid 90s. But the detail on this thing is just phenomenal. It's so good. So, along with seeing the civilian model notchback, I'd also like to see one of these hatchbacks released without that spoiler. I think that would be cool too. The spoiler is a separate piece, it's not part of the casting. But because of the value of these things, I just don't have the onions to pull one of the spoilers off. These are probably the most expensive part of my entire Greenlight collection. The most recent addition to my collection here is this County Roads. I think it's Series 6. It's either 6 or 7. But it's a fairly early County Roads release. And this is the Mustang 5.0 white with the blue stripes. This one has the chrome aftermarket wheels. But this has a silver interior. Incredible detail on these cars, though. I think when judging for replication accuracy, I think the Foxbody might be Greenlight's best tooling overall. At least the fastback Foxbodies. They just look so accurate. They look so authentic. Here's one of the easier ones to find. Probably one of the lesser expensive models from the Anniversary series. Just a 5.0. The OEM GT wheels. This is a 1987. Awesome car here. And then the second easiest one to find, or maybe even the easiest one to find, this is the only time the car ever made an appearance in the Hollywood series. It's another 1987 5.0. This is from the movie Ghost. This is the only release of this car that features these wheels. These are OEM Ford wheels. They were used a lot on the Mercury Marauders and the Ford Crown Victorias, but they did throw a Mustang out there with these wheels on them. It's one of the things I like about Greenlight is that they'll make a prototypical wheel, but they'll make it just generic enough that they can use it on other cars and give those other cars a really close look to a stock look. Like those Chevy C10 wheels is another perfect example of that, because those can transition from the C10 to the G20. Greenlight's pretty good at that. So this one is red with black interior. Another awesome little Foxbody casting. So this one here was another eBay find. I ripped this one. I think I paid like $16 for this, shipped on eBay as buy it now. I would venture to guess that it probably wasn't listed very long, because at that price, this is the Black Bandit. It's an early Black Bandit, but it's a straight up civilian model. It's not like the notchback Black Bandit, which has the light bar. These two, by the way, are the only two Black Bandit Foxbodies that have ever been released. Now, Black Bandit is a series that they're still making today, and it's one of those series that they'll probably never stop making, like the Hot Pursuit and the Hollywood, just because it's so desirable. They took it over from Johnny Lightning. Johnny Lightning was doing the Black Bandits way back in the day. But it's such a popular series amongst collectors that I just don't see them ever discontinuing it. And I know that it's going to be really hard to see this car, but the detail is sick. It does have the prototypical wheels as well. It just has them in black. But I absolutely love this car. I was so stoked. I remember when I found this on eBay. It was mint in the package. All of these cars came to me mint in the package. I cracked all of these. But this one was probably the one that excited me the most when I got it. As well as this last one here. This one excited me quite a bit because there was somebody on eBay. This was in like around October of 2016. Somebody was selling the entire County Road Series 5 set for $49 shipped. And so I went ahead and bought it because this car by itself could very easily sell for that. And the other cars in that series were awesome. It came with that black and red Dodge Ram Charger. It came with the C10 with the mud splatter. It came with a really nice Crown Vic. Came with a 1970 Ford Mustang. It was a good 6-car set for $49. And, you know, $49 is basically retail. It's basically $6 a car plus shipping. You know, maybe a little bit more. But, you know, 6 times 6 is 36. You figure $10, $12 for shipping. So, to get these cars at that price, in my opinion, was a total steal. This, to me, is the nicest looking Mustang out of all of these. And the reason for that, as I've discussed many times, is the color. Silver in 1:64 scale draws all of the detail out. And it really does make for the best presentation. Now, I'm on the fence on the wheels as to whether or not I would prefer the stock GT wheels like these. But to me, it's nice to have a little bit of variety, a little bit of selection. This car is just so killer, though. I love it. So, that pretty much wraps this video up. We're at 22 minutes. Give this a quick little once over, and I've got some other Greenlight cars out that we might be able to take a look at real quick. They are jammer cars, so they're cars that I don't really look at that often. So in total, Foxbody Mustangs, I have 7 of the fastbacks and 5 of the notchbacks. But I know I'm missing quite a few. The thing about the fastback is they put quite a few of them out back from like 2007 through probably 2011, maybe 2012. And then they really just stopped. The only times that they put it out since then was the Hollywood, the Ghost one, and the anniversary one. So, but there are 3 new models coming out of the Foxbody hatchback. They are Distributor Exclusives. I don't remember who the distributor is that is doing it, but they should be hitting here in a few months. They're going to be fairly limited, but I will grab one of each color. I think there's going to be 3 colors. There's going to be green. It's like a bright green, orange, and yellow, I think, are going to be the 3 colors. But anytime that they put this car out, I have to get it because this seems to be the tooling that once collectors get their hand on, they don't seem to part with. So you don't see these hit the market very often. If you were to go to eBay, the notchbacks you'll find all day, but like that Black Bandit and some of these other ones, there are times during the year where you won't find any of these listed, or you may find, one or two of them, but very rarely will you be able to go on eBay and see each one of these available for sale. And I know a lot of people hate eBay, but for diecast, eBay really is the best way to gauge the value of something, obviously, because it shows you what people are paying in current market conditions. But it also is a good way to gauge the rarity of the car, because if it's not listed on eBay, it's probably pretty rare. There's not a lot of stuff you can't find on eBay. So, some of the other cars that I have out that we'll just take a quick look at. This Ford Galaxy is pretty awesome. I don't remember which release that was from Greenlight, but definitely an awesome car. I like this one a lot too. The Andy Griffith Ford Custom. Really cool car. This one is dope. This is the Florida, I think it's Florida State Trooper Trans Am. This is one of the nicer Trans Ams they've put out. It's a nice tooling. It's always hard to compete with Auto World with the second gen Trans Am. Here's another Florida State Trooper Dodge Charger. Now this Dodge Charger is a tooling I'm not a huge fan of. There's a Black Bandit Chevy Impala. Really cool car there. I love the satin black. Let's see here. Here's another Black Bandit. This one's super awesome. Probably gonna have fingerprints all over it, but got a 1970 Chevelle Black Bandit. I actually have the green machine of this one. It's a really nice green body. And let's see if we have anything else. This was a cool car that they released from Supernatural. Little rust bucket Chevelle. Would be like Greenlight's version of Projects in Progress, which they actually did. They did a line called Resto Rides, I think. Very rare, though. Very, very limited production. I think they only made 500 of each. One of my favorite Chevelles they've ever put out is this Ricky Bobby. This has been out twice. From the movie Talladega Nights, you have the Smoky Eunuch. I have yet to find a nicer Smoky Eunuch car in the scale. Hot Wheels has done a few, but I think the Greenlight is the nicest when you're talking about the realistic look and detail of the car. There's another one I absolutely love. Little Black Bandit split window Beetle. Very, very cool car. And here's another tooling Greenlight does an awesome job with, this Dodge Challenger. I don't remember if this is from Walking Dead or Breaking Bad, but it's from one of those. It's a very, very wide casting. I love the wheels on it. I just think they do a great job with it. Now, before they did that, they did a concept. They did a Dodge Challenger concept. Here's the concept. And that was before they had actually put this car into production. This is when they were talking about bringing it back. It's just awesome. I do think that the concept car was pretty, not nearly as good looking as the final end result. And that's pretty much it. I have a couple other Volkswagen Beetles. A little Tennessee State Trooper. I don't know why any state police would use a Volkswagen Beetle. But whatever. There's the Forrest Gump with the oxidation and paint coming off the car. Friday the 13th. Here's one from Footloose. This one actually came out of the Hollywood 10-pack. Here's one from the television show Once Upon a Time. If you watch it, this is Emma's Beetle. You got the messed up door. I don't remember what movie this one here was from, but this is from the Hollywood series. As is this green one. The green one here is from the movie Bullet. And then here is I think it's a diorama car. A little Texaco Beetle. So there's part of my Beetle collection. I do have some others that are kept separately. There's a really nice Impala. I think I might be doing an Impala video too, because I've got quite a few different Impalas that I could showcase. This gold Chevelle. Greenlight did such a good job with this Chevelle tooling. It's one of their better toolings, I think. They all have a great stance. It's the same tooling as used for the Smoky Eunuch. It's a different tooling from this one, though. Very different tooling. The 68 and 69 tooling is very different from the 70, 71, 72 tooling. So, anyways, Greenlight, Foxbody Mustangs kind of turned into a little bit more of a showcase than that. But here's another 30 or so really good reasons to collect Greenlight. And if you guys are into diecast, it's definitely a good brand to collect because they're pretty readily available. They have the best selection of any premium brand out there. And that includes Kyosho and Tomica Limited Vintage and Auto World. Basically any premium brand. Nobody has the selection that Greenlight does. And you can find these at retail for between $5 and $7. And even on the secondary market, they sell for about that same price. So they don't get scalped. It's very rare you see one of these selling on the secondary market higher than it does at the retail level until they've reached at least some level of age. You know, once they become a year or two old, you might start to see the secondary market price climbing. But look at the Bree Z's and the R32s. Even those you can still find for under $10 shipped. So it's definitely a great brand to collect. And that's going to wrap up my video. So 35 minutes. You guys all have a great weekend, and I'll holler at you all at the next video.